What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of What Does It Spin, and today we're going to be opening a battle set. That's right, we are opening the first quad drive battle set. Outside of Brazil, this has been out for a really long time, but in Brazil, we just got this. We literally just got this. So, fantastic to see. Finally, we get to have a decent stadium for quad drive instead of just playing it on the green little stadium, which mine has been a little smushed. But it is the only one we had, and now, of course, we finally have this. So fantastic. Let's take a look at the art. I like it, love it. As a lot of you know, I'm not a huge fan of quad drive stuff. I really wanted to like it, but the more time that passes, the less effort Hasbro seems to be putting in it. But it is what it is. We're here. I just like this whole thing, like high mode, low mode. Sure, but then high mode with the armor piece on, it becomes really tall against the low mode without an armor piece on. It just, I don't know. You can't really battle them that way, So, I just keep everything on low mode. But, it is what it is. Here's my cat. And yeah, as you see, it does come with Destruction Bellfire. Yeah. Instead of Dynamite Belial, it is Destruction Bellfire and Magma Ifritor. Fantastic thing about Magma Ifritor is that it is still only in Hasbro. They didn't make this on Takara Tomy, which is pretty sad, but it is what it is. So here we are. The arena does have 4 levels. I'm still not sure how that works in practice because, my point of view, the Beyblade would all start coming towards this part, right? So I'm thinking they're not gonna use this side that often unless you spin it really fast, some attack types for it to go around. But most of the defense and stamina types, I'm guessing, will be stuck here. But it is what it is. We'll have to check it out. And yeah, pretty excited for this. As you know, I don't have a Dynamite Battle arena either. That one, I'll still have to figure that out. We might try to do some Dynamite battles in this arena, though, it's a little iffy because this arena did not have the Dynamite Battle Beyblades in mind when it was made. So, I'm afraid it might get a tear or a crack from how heavy DB bays are in comparison to quad drive. But, we can at least try a few battles at some point. And yeah. Let's open this baby up. But before we continue, leave us a like if you've been enjoying this series and consider subscribing to not lose any future videos of What Does It Spin. So are you ready? Let's go. So talking about the arena first, as you see, it does have 4 levels. It does have some little dents in them on the lines to guide the Beyblade, I'm guessing. When they come up here, they would be guided back. It does have 2 little guiders on the sides as well to make them go to the center wherever they're spinning from. So that's interesting. It does have kind of a pocket. I don't think they would go out through there because it is very thin, but who knows? Maybe you could get stuck there. And yeah, it does have 4 legs that came with it. And that's it. I don't have much to talk about it. So let's go and see the Beyblade. So here we are. And of course, they do come with ripcord launchers that are standardized for Hasbro. Their performance are not any better or worse than the other ripcord launchers from the different seasons, aside from the very first one, of course. But yeah, they're a little worse than the Pro Series light launchers and less convenient than the string launchers. But it is better than nothing. And also these specific quad drive ones, they do have a space here for you to put an armor tip on there if you want to carry an extra one to be able to customize your Beyblade on the go. Or just to keep it on there when you take it off from your Beyblade, so that when you battle you don't lose track of it. All in all, an interesting, nice usage there. And now looking at the Beyblades, let's look at Destruction Bellfire. We know this is supposed to be Dynamite Belial, but it is what it is. It does look nice. It does have the red colors on it at the very least. the paint job is not the worst ones, especially because this was probably one of the first quad drives to be out, even though here in Brazil we got it only now. So the paint job is still somewhat there. If you see the more recent ones, more recent quad drives, they practically only have two colors in the entire Beyblade, which is very sad to look at. But here at least you can tell that it's supposed to be Belial. So I do like that. Why not? The core, nothing to write home about, but there's the code if you need it. We do know that they were modified to match the quad drive system, so they are circular. The armor that comes with it is a 2, but it is plastic, so it doesn't. They don't do anything. It only adds a little weight to it, the plastic weight, but even then it's minimal because it's completely plastic. So they don't really do anything. These plastic armor pieces, they don't do anything. They are not like the armor pieces from Takara Tomy. Yeah, not much to talk about, I guess. The blade, of course, is like dynamite. It does have 3 wings of attack. It is an attack type that spins to the right. It is decent, but unlike dynamite, you cannot put an F gear on this because of how the core is different, right? You don't put the core and then put the tabs in. This is a spin and click type of deal here in quad drive, so that makes it so you cannot put an F gear on it unless Hasbro does decide to come with a different system for the F gear for this specific one, which more and more it is looking like it's not going to happen because only recently they did have S gear, an S gear forge disc, and not a gear, so yeah, it looks like gears are not going to be a thing in quad drive, which is very sad. But yeah, the attacks are okay in this blade. There are a few smash attacks, but it is just a lighter, much lighter dynamite. The forge disc is Nexus Q, because this is a quad drive one. But interestingly enough, if you do have an S gear or a D gear, you can put it on this. It does fit. It is lighter than the Nexus of Takara Tomy, but you can put the gears on this if you want to upgrade your Bellfire. So that begs the question: if you can fit those here, why? Like, maybe at some point Hasbro did plan to release the gears as well, but like I said, they recently released a Nexus S, which is the Nexus with the S gear on, but it is like one entire piece of metal. It's not a gear you can take out or put in. It's not free spinning, obviously, and it is a lot smaller than the actual S gear. It is just a forge disc with the format, with the appearance of the S gear. So it is very sad that it turned out that way, especially because this first Bellfire did come with an actual Nexus, which you could put the actual gears on. Aside from that, it does have 8 blades on it, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is an attack type forge disc, I guess, but like I said, it is a lot lighter here in Hasbro, and it won't do much of a difference aside from just weight aside from the symmetrical weight distribution. It won't add any life. It won't give you any more life after death because of how square it is. But it is what it is. The driver, of course, the armor tip on it is a Venture, as you can see, but it doesn't have the rubber tips. It is just a flat tip on it, so it will act like a normal flat tip, but it does have this part. So if your Beyblade do tip over on the arena, it will scrape and use these ridges to kind of grab on and move, but it's not that crazy. So for the most part, it will just act like a flat tip, and that's it. That's it. They do have these holes here. I don't know if you can put the V gear on it. I assume so, but I might be wrong. Who knows? If you turn and take the armor tip off, you can see that this is a yielding. It is very short without the armor tip, of course, but you know, yielding is okay. It's a stamina type. There's a standard old school driver, right? So it doesn't have any crazy gimmicks. But that's how quad drive drivers mostly are. There's no crazy gimmicks, just basic layer and dual layer driver performance. Moving on to Magma Ifritor. I think it looks pretty cool. It is not focusing, but yeah, I think it's a pretty cool chip. That said, it doesn't have that many colors as well. It's kind of hard to tell from far away. It's kind of hard to tell what it is. From close by, you can definitely see the details, so that's a lot cooler. We do have a recolor of this chip. We do have a recolor of this this blade. But as you see, this blade is kind of interesting because it does have a downward blade. It is a right spinning blade, so it will attack up first and then go down, which I don't know. It just feels like it's a lot of counterattack parts to it. It won't be an upper attack or anything. It's just an okay blade, I think. Nothing too fantastic. This armor, if I remember correctly, it's a Hasbro's 03, which is based off of 10, I think. It does have 10 points apparently of weight, supposedly, but of course, again, this is plastic, so it adds almost no weight. It is very thin plastic, very fragile. It won't add much at all. Here's the code if you want for Magma Ifritor. The slopes here are really bad. They're below average in quad drive, so you know almost no one uses Ifritor. I do have Destruction Ifritor, right, from the double pack, and we saw how easily that bursted every time. So you know, not that cool, not that crazy, but it is what it is. It's what we have. It is a cool Beyblade in the anime, though, you know, so it's nice to have one of these, I guess. The Forge Disc is a Sequex Q. It is a weird Forge Disc, in my opinion. It is very hollow looking, so it is pretty light. It feels like it's not a real Forge Disc. It feels like one of those fake Forge Discs from a different off-brand. If you look down here, just from how hollow it looks, right? But it is what it is. It is very round, but it doesn't add any life after death, just because of how the blades are placed. It is downward as well, just like the blade. So you know, it doesn't add any life after death. In fact, I think it hinders your life after death with this. So you know, not a huge fan of this Forge Disc, even though it looks nice looking from above. Just don't look at it from below. The driver here, as you can see, has an armor tip of the Wave, which you know, it's okay, it's cool, I guess. The driver itself is a Jaggy, which again, like I said, is from the basic and dual layer drivers. So you know, it is okay. It is a star shape. It will be aggressive. It will make a little different noise on the arena, but you know, it is what it is. The armor tip Wave, it is a little more interesting, but you can see that the tip on it is not as fine as the Takeratomi one. It is more flat and wide, so it will probably not be very stamina-ish. It might move around more than the actual Takeratomi one, but it does have the two levels that will help it balance better, I guess, and it will help on life after death with this outer ring. But yeah, let's assemble it, test it out, and battle it against each other. Okay, guys, so you may have noticed that things changed a lot here, and I'll be honest with you, this is actually the second take I'm doing for the conclusion part of the video, because while I was editing the video, I had a change of heart, to be completely honest with you. So talking about the arena first, it's a fantastic arena. That didn't change. I think it's a fantastic arena. I think the different levels, they do serve well. They do kind of serve like the ridges on the other Hasbro stadiums, like Hypersphere. You know how they go up and come down. So this, let me try to make some space. That's what it kind of feels like when they're up here, and the moment they turn back to this main circle, they do come down stronger and they do hit faster and harder. So I think Hasbro has their hands down on making good arenas that work and that are exciting and that are fun to play in. So yes, that okay. But these lines, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw these lines here and over here as well, I was pretty skeptical because that reminded me of the Infinity Brink arena set from Hypersphere as well. And that one had a bunch of lines that weren't that great. When your Beyblade was going fast, it did direct it pretty well. But the moment it slowed down a little bit, which Hypersphere, as you all know, they did slow down quite a bit after a while. So on that Infinity Brink set, these lines would trip up. You can hear how prominent these lines are. So these lines would trip up the Beyblades on the Infinity Brink set. So I imagined that it would be doing the same thing, but for the most part, they didn't trip up anybody. Only when the Beyblade was already slowing down, which by then they're not in these 3 levels, so these lines wouldn't have any effect on it. Only over here. And when they're going really slow, when they're losing stamina already, yes, that can affect them. But for the most part, during the battle, it does not affect them negatively. It actually works pretty well for when they're going fast. They do go on that and get directed by that line. So, you know, I think it works all pretty nicely. These side parts, that redirecting, I noticed that sometimes if the Beyblade is going fast enough, they do just go over it, which was pretty interesting. But, you know, it did work most of the times as well. So, you know, I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty fun and exciting. And I think this stadium itself has made me like Hypersphere more, because on the green arena, I felt like the Beyblades were losing a lot of stamina quite quickly, and the battles were not as exciting. At least that's what it felt like on the green arena. And I'll be honest with you, when I started battling in this, that's the mentality I had. Like, I was already expecting that, I guess. So it was only when I rewatched these battles, when I was editing this video, that I noticed that the battles are not that bad at all, that they do hit pretty nicely, they do go around quite a bit, and the stamina isn't as horrendous as it used to be on the green arena. So I think this arena did change my view on quad drive quite a bit. That's not to say that I'm not disappointed in quad drives. I still think they could be a lot better than they are today. I still think Hasbro isn't putting in the effort that they should, that they could be doing. So, you know, that's the thing. In the end of the day, these are still Beyblades. These are still spinning tops. They're official Beyblades, which means they are better than a lot of the off-brand spinning tops. So I do love it. I do love opening them. I do love collecting them. I do love battling them and watching them and everything about them. It's just that quad drive leaves a lot to be desired. Yes, it is fun, but I often have more fun playing with Takara Tomy. I do have more fun playing with other seasons of Hasbro Beyblades, which is interesting to say, because I was under the impression that these quad drive Beyblades were not performing as well, but watching the videos of the battles again, I don't think that's the case. I think it's the launch that feels weak, because that's the thing about quad drives. They are rattly, they are loose, especially because the armor part is plastic and wobbly. The entire Beyblade does feel wobbly and light and just, you know, kind of awkward. So when you launch it, I guess it does feel insecure. I guess it does feel too light. So it doesn't feel as powerful. But the other Hasbro Beyblades, even the basic layer and the dual layer, when you launch it, they feel powerful, even though they are just as light as this, right? But they're more compact and they're less rattly, I guess. So it feels more powerful even if they're not. Because if you battle a basic layer against these quad drives, then the quad drives will always win. So they're not worse than the other Hasbro seasons. It just feels like it, and I don't really know why that is. I still think it might be on the launch, because when you launch them, they don't feel as powerful. On the previous video, I kept saying that they don't spin as hard and that they don't hit as hard. But rewatching these battles when I was editing them, in this arena at least, that definitely did not seem like the case. They did spin just as hard. They did hit just as hard as other Hasbro Beyblades. I mean, of course, they don't hit as hard as Takara Tomy Beyblades, obviously, because they just lack the weight. But against other Hasbro seasons, they do just as well, if not better. It's just, I don't know. Maybe because they're wider and bigger, but they still retain the same kind of weight, so it feels lighter. And again, the rattliness, I don't know. Something about them makes them feel like they're worse, even if they're not. So yeah, I guess I'm just disappointed in the overall quality, like I said, of the quad drive, and that is affecting everything else. But the arena, this new arena, does definitely help me see it in a better light, let's say. I won't say a completely new light, because I'm still pretty disappointed at what Hasbro has been doing with quad drive, but the arena does help me see in a better light, to be more open-minded, I guess. And yeah, that's what I had to show you. That's what I had to say. Eventually, we will be doing some tournament videos in this arena, I think. And maybe try to spin our Dynamite Battle Beyblades in here as well, just to see how they do. But yeah, take the conclusions you like from this. Leave us a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to see more videos like this. We are obviously focusing more on Beyblades. Sometimes we do bring other spin tops that are not Beyblade related, and sometimes we bring stuff that are not even spin tops, but that we try to spin just to see if you can. So if you're interested in stuff like that, I'll see you next time, and until then, stay nerdy, guys.